TNTMTheShow presents Comicast 334 with your host, Pablo Gunner, and I am here to talk nerdy to you about this week's comics, which is going to be April 18th comics. Here at Talk Nerdy to Me, we have our own grade scale that we've sculpted over many years. And it is for comics. It is buy, skim, pass, and then we also have variations. So there's a strong buy, weak buy, strong skim, skim, weak skim, then pass is pass. We also have terms such as contender. Now, contender is for the runner-up and or back in bag of the week, the best book of the week, aka VOWS. Okay. Now, if it's just myself reviewing a book, as it will be tonight, it's only review. That's all. Now, if there's two of us, it's 2 minutes. Obviously, 1 minute since I'm by myself, as I said. So, spoiler alert on any of these comics that I will be reviewing this week. About halfway, we'll be doing a commercial break for one of our sponsors and then continue on with the program to do the rest of the comics. I don't believe there is really any nerdy news to get into other than that the Avengers comes out next week on the 26th. That's a Thursday. If you're lucky enough to go to on a Thursday than Friday. So, well, that being said, I'm going to head and get this party started. Now, I am actually going to be covering my first book is a book that isn't actually for this week. It actually came out last week, but I was not able to grab it just due to circumstances, and I was like, screw it, I'll just give it away next week, so which is this week. So I read it, X-Men Red #3, written by Tom Taylor. We have Mahmoud Asrar as the artist, and then Ive Zvorsina as color artist. So we have Cassandra Nova, and she is in the X-Men house. There is a kid that can see her. She deals with the kid as such, and then we get to what was happening before, which is this X-Men Red team is dealing with this Sentinel attacking them, and then this girl goes all beast mode and she takes control of the Sentinel, and then they realize that these humans, their brains can't be shut off because they actually have so she just has wings. Gambit ends up defending her. It's pretty funny. It actually kind of makes fun of that whole, like, what was it, like Charlottesville situation with their torches and stuff. But it's one of those types of things, and yeah, it just ends up bad. So this book is, I like it, but it has the same issues that All New Wolverine has, which is there's a constant roller coaster of, oh, this is really good. Oh, this is kind of okay, like, and you're just, and it can be all over the place too, where you're like, I don't really, okay, I guess this works here. I don't know. So, and this story moves really slowly too. It's so well done visually. I want to give it a strong buy, and I want to give it a contender because it looks great. But it's just, I feel like the writing, because he's been in with another artist. Like I said, all new Wolverine, different artist, still issues in that book. So I go, it cannot be the art at this point. There's no way it's the art, because storytelling is both art and it's the art and the writing working together. But in this situation, I can't help but go like, I think it's a strong buy, but it's no way near a contender just because of, like, it looks phenomenal and there's great parts, but overall it's like, do the parts move and work together well? And does it stand well on its own as an issue? Like, okay, sure, like beginning, middle, and end goes like, okay, yeah, I want to check out the next issue. But parts of it where I'm just like, I don't know if this fits. This is a little, all right, whatever. So anyways, you can go ahead and have the digital code. Here it is. 8, R for Richter, O for Oscar, 0, D for Dave, D for Dave, H for Hector, 9, W for Wilson, R for Richter, Z for Zach, and 0. Moving on to the actual first book. I think this one, I don't know, I think this one might have come out another week too, but I don't care. At least I saw it on last week's list, and then the previous week before that too. I don't know, so it depends on the site. But anyways, it's Weapon H, number 2. We have Greg Pak writing, Corey Smith on art, and then Matt Hollingsworth as the color artist. And so this one actually starts with Doctor Doom, or not Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange going like, this Wendigo looks a lot more wiry, than other Wendigos, and that's because magic is kind of screwed up and stuff. And then they're like, but there's this other dude, and he has something that, like, I don't know if it's magic, but it's something that makes him different. Anyways, it gets back to those two duking it out, and it's pretty epic. It's pretty awesome seeing this fight between them. This Wendigo bites this dude, and it does make the Wendigo stronger and bigger and stuff. So it doesn't make it for more of a challenge, causes an avalanche. He has to save people from this avalanche, and it's just getting crazy. And I love the flashes to his wife and kids. And then Doctor Strange does show up and like kind of explains what's going on. Doctor Strange isn't really having much luck, but if things aren't working on the outside, maybe you should try elsewhere. So, yeah, and he's just like, I just want to get out of here and just do my own thing. And he just, yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I like it. It's good, but I kind of feel like it's something that's also been done already, kind of like with Wolverine or with a lot of these tortured past characters. And yeah, they do have people that they care about, but they're trying to keep it on the DL. It's not bad. It looks pretty solid. So I can't knock on it too much, really. But I just don't feel like at the same time I'm like, I can't be like, oh, this is something I've never even read before. I can't, I have no idea what's going to happen. So not that it's super predictable, but to a certain degree. And so I can give it a buy right now, just because like even art at times I feel like it could be better, but it is really solid. It is really solid, but it's mostly like I said, I know it's a story. So buy. Here's the digital code: F for Familia, Z for Zorro, N for Marcos, N for Novela, V for Villanueva, 0, U for Unidos, 5, V for Villanueva, 635. Now getting into some Infinity Countdown number 2. I don't know how many there are of this, but it is Jerry Dugan as a writer, pencilers Aaron Cooter and Mike Hawthorne, inkers Aaron Cooter and Terry Pallett, color artist Jordi Belair, Corey Petit as letter. So this one starts with that like that dwarf dude, and he's making stuff or he's making something for somebody, and they're harassing him like, "Hey, hurry up with my stuff." Then you see Drax. Oh, well, not Drax, but Groot, the new Groot, sort of, and he just goes inside this giant Groot, and deals with them that way, which is pretty colorful. And then, of course, like I said, Drax, and he's defending the Power Stone, and there's people getting there. It's crazy though, because this lady's like in labor, but she's powerful because she's touching the Power Stone. She's able to power through it. So, and then Rocket's like, "Oh, I need something." He shows up with like this fake Galactus that doesn't work, and it fails, and it bombs, and he just has to end up going with his regular plan. And yeah, and then you have all these other people show up, and it's just crazy and super intense and really insane, intense and crazy. And yeah, there's some family squabbles, so to speak. And it looks like it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Warlock shows up too. Well, not there, but he has like part of it is his own, he has like his own thing going on in the book. So the rest of it is his. It doesn't like, so it wasn't like what I expected with the Adam Warlock stuff. It was kind of cool to have separate things, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I want to know what's going on with like the Guardians and everything like that, more so than Warlock. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, I really don't care about this right now. You know, like that's the thing about having this in the same book. I was just like, come on. You know, it is $4.99. So I felt like they could have left out those few pages of the Adam Warlock story for the next issue and made this cheaper. So, yeah. But it looks great the whole way through, and it's awesome, and it's intense, and it's crazy, and it's hardcore, and I can't wait to pick up the next issue. So, yeah. You can have the digital code, though. F for Fantastic, Z for Zarbon, M for Mankey, 1, T for Tome, M for Mankey, N for Nova, 7, I for Icarus, W for Wesker, Q for Quill, 9. Let's get into some Batman. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, number 6 of 6. It's $3.99. I want to say it's the same creative team as it has been this whole time, which is James Tynion IV, with the help of Ryan Ferrier on writing. Then we have Freddie Williams II as the main art, and then Jeremy Caldwell as colors. And so it is the assault. It's the assault on Bane and his army of juiced up, venomized, mutated Foot Clan. And they bring out all the stops in this. It's freaking awesome. They bring out Splinter. They bring out Shredder, too. Casey Jones, April O'Neil. You know, Damien's there. Batgirl's there. Nightwing. It's just freaking awesome, and it's hardcore. And they take the fight to him. And, yeah, this has some freaking awesome spreads and stuff. You have to turn it, like, sideways because of the way that they did the art. It's pretty epic. They even have, like, the turtle van and stuff. It's really freaking cool. It's just like there's a lot of just epic spreads going on in this, just pure chaotic battles and stuff. And they're attacking Bane and you know, Rocksteady and Bebop. It's freaking cool. And then of course, you know, Shredder shows up, and he's you know, he's there to like reclaim, but he made a promise to Batman, or they made a deal, so which is kind of weird. Their deal is weird, but essentially it's like Donatello is triumphant because of his tech, and everyone's like, yeah, Donatello did it. He pulled through. He just needs some time to work on his tech, you know, and be awesome, you know. So, and now he has like Batman's training protocol or something. So he can work on his physical stuff as well. It's freaking awesome. It's freaking epic. This one was a little messy and chaotic, but it's meant to be that way because that's what the final battle, and it's just insane, ridiculous, and crazy, and awesome. So, superb in trade. I bet it's better in trade, especially like for this issue. Felt like kind of rushed, but if you read it all as one, it just wraps it up really well and great. Really well done. I like it a lot. I dig it. Strong by contender for sure. Batman and Ninja Turtles coming together. How can you fault, you know? Next, Super Sons. Number 15. This one's $3.99. It does have a digital code. I want to say that this is a similar creative team with Peter J. Tomasi as story and words, Carlo Barberi as pencils, Art Thibault as inks, and then Proto Bunker as colors, and then Dave Sharp on letters. And so it starts real quick. It picks up quick. It starts quick. They're like, yeah, this Amazo suit and stuff. And it turns out like the Amazo suit is running on its own. So it just needed the energy of the kid. But I don't think there's a kid in it, but you needs energy to keep going. So it attacks these Super Sons in their underwater base. And they're, you know, it's freaking awesome and intense because they're like, oh, yeah, the rebreathers. We need to get to the rebreathers. And Superboy's like, you get to the breathers. I'll deal with this Amazo kid. And so they think it's the kid in there. They use the escape pods to attack the Amazo suit, Amazo virus suit. And then they both get breathers and they're going to the top while this thing's attacking them. It's super intense. One of them gets sucked down and he's like, I need to go save him. And then Cyborg's there at the top and they're like, okay, we'll go save him. So it's just freaking intense. And they're like, all right, well, he's not gonna kill him because, you know, of what's going on. But so yeah, that's when you get the revelation of like, hey, it's not like it's kind of just a suit now and stuff running things, but yeah. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's hardcore. It's fantastic. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It's weird though, because like the ending, I was like, no way. We'll see how they explain it, how they have how this Amazo suit virus thing has all these people captured. Because when they do things like this and they don't explain it or they do a bad job explaining it, I'm just like, this is dumb. So, but that's for the next issue. I'll have to judge that one separately, as I will judge this one separately. So I'll give this one a strong buy. Not quite a contender though. Not quite. So close. So close. I just feel like there's something off about it. Like visually it looks great. The emotions are there. Certain things are there. I just felt like you probably could have made it a little, I don't know, like a little more intense or something. I don't know. We'll see next issue. So digital code, here it is. DC for Detective Comics 817, Y for Yellow, B for Bane, D for Donatello, F for Family, Y for Yellow, 4, K for Kill, and T for Thomas. It's time for some The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Number 18, Fast Times at Midtown High. The writer is Jody Hauser, artist Nathan Stockman, Ruth Redmond is the colorist. And so this girl goes haywire that has these powers, and she's like, I'm going to go after Norman Osborn Jr., and so, which is the son of Harry Osborn, and he's just a good kid. He's just a good businessman, you know? And so she's like, I'm gonna go kill him, you know? Apparently someone had left the chemicals and the formula at her house and with a note. So there's someone behind this. And then this guy that is her friend is like, oh, we got to stop her and stuff. And then all the while we have Spiderling, yeah, Spider-Bite. I want to call it Spider-Bite, but Spiderling, and she is like, oh, she's like trying to keep it under wraps. You know, she senses her parents or something like that, so she stops. She pretends she has a twisted ankle, you know, and then they talk to her, and they're like, she's like, hey, this is the reason that I didn't tell you guys, and they're like, oh yeah, Peter's like, oh yeah, you were just a super villain in the making, like busting her chops and stuff, and then She ends up telling them everything. And they're like, oh, okay. That girl does attack him, but the guy ends up talking to her, and they end up getting things resolved. But this is something that's going to become more in multiple ways, because this scientist that works for Norman Osborn Jr., he seems a little sinister. So, but I like this. I like this a lot. I like this girl and how she, like she's slowly coming into her own and stuff. It's really neat. So, yeah. So yeah, I just, yeah, anime is great. It's fun. The art is fantastic. It works with it. It's goofy. It's fun. It's enjoyable. So check it out for sure. Yeah. So, but I will give the Digiclode away. So I'll give it a strong buy-in contender. Z for Zoro, 422, X for Xavier, Z for Zoro, R for Richter, V for Vegeta, C for Cable, W for and D for Diego, Z for Zoro. Zoro? What? Oh, shoot. I didn't get this. Okay, so now I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm going to be straight up. I didn't even know I had this. I didn't read it. So I can't really say what grade it is, but I will do a written review of it. I feel like a dirtbag that I didn't know I had this and that it came out this week. I just grabbed my books and didn't even sift through them well. I'm going to say it's a strong buy-in contender, though, just because it's Turtles and it's me. I bet I would give it that score. So tell me I'm wrong. Now it's time for some X-Men Gold 26. It's Till Death Do Us Part 1. It is $3.99. It does have a digital code. Mark Guggenheim is the writer, artist Michelle Bandini, color artist Arif Prianto, flashback artist David Marquez, flashback colorist Matthew Wilson, letter Corey Petit. And so, yeah, it's the flashback to the classic scene where it is Kitty Pryde, and she's like walking down the stairs and she's meeting the X-Men, and she's like, she's checking out Peter, and it's like she's all young. She's too young for him at that time, but she's like, oh, that guy looks really neato, and stuff. And they even talk about that moment, like it gets back to the present, and they talk about that moment and stuff. And he was like, you were too young for me. And, like, it's just so great. And like, they're talking about how they've been stalling for so long. And they're actually on a mission looking for Mesmero and that other person. And so, yeah, they find him, they spot him, they do this thing. But he keeps on messing up Rachel Gray. Then you see this like Sentinel and stuff, and now they're going to make this plan to attack Colossus and stuff. And then Kitty has a talk with Bobby about how he had a Evil Brotherhood guy on his team, which was Pyro, the new Pyro, I guess, not the original Pyro. And he's like, well, we've had people that were on the Brotherhood before, and he's trying to make a difference and stuff. And Piotr is trying to work out some frustrations in a Doom scenario. I love Kurt Wagner. He's going to give a bachelor party for his pal Piotr. And so they go to Vegas and they have like a bachelor party, but like he's a farm boy and he's just like, he feels awkward and weird there. And then the Sentinel attacks him in the bathroom, and Bobby goes to check on him and realizes that he's stealing him away. So yeah, it's awesome. But there's going to be a special for this written by Chris Claremont that just says what's going on, what happens in Vegas, I think. And I cannot wait to read that because that would be so great. I love Claremont and he's the best. So that is going to be freaking awesome. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I like it a lot. Like this is more like downtime stuff than anything. It just works so great. The voices work so well. I hear Gambit. I hear Nightcrawler, hey there, Shay. And my God. So everybody just looks perfect, and the action's awesome. Everything's superb, top notch. So I'm going to give it a strong buy and a contender. I'm going to hold on to this digital code. That's how good I think it is. Ooh, speaking of, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 26 Shattered Grid. And it is Kyle Higgins as the writer, illustrated by Daniel Di Nicolo, with inconsistencies by Simona Di Gianfelice, colors by Walter Biamonte, letters by Ed Dukeshire. And then there's, yeah. So this one we have Lord Dracon, and he is back home, and he's talking to his league and stuff, like, hey, I get this meeting ready. Then he like has a hug with, like, it looks like a combination of Finster and Alpha 5. So he calls him Finster 5. So I don't know, at some point he must have combined those two into one. It's weird. And he's like, oh yeah, so I have this secret weapon that's going to allow us to do this stuff. And then it gets back to what's going on, which is Tommy is dead. He's dead. He was murdered in an alleyway. They are all dealing with the death of Tommy. They're trying to bring him back to life. They cannot. And they're just all messed up. You even see Jason, and he has like the guard now. It's been transferred to him. And like everyone's just going through their emotional things from the funeral, his death, and everything like that. Then this lady shows up from the Time Rangers and is like, hey, something happened here that wasn't supposed to happen. It's shattered all the other times and messed them up. And Billy's like, maybe we can like teleport to those things. So they team up, and he's like, they end up like getting a ranger. And so essentially what happens is they just need to steal one color from each generation because they're all passed down and stuff. And that's what they need to do to keep it safe. I don't know how they're going to fix this. I don't know how they're going to go back in time and like bring Tommy back or anything, but they're going to have to at some point. It's just, this is the beginning of something really, really bad for the Power Rangers of every age. And it's just awesome because it's starting with the original, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't read the extra tidbit thing at the end because I was just like so overwhelmed with this in such a good way with like the main story that I was like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, I need to just think about this and dote upon this for a while instead of like, oh, it's just this jokey, clowny thingy, story in the back. And I'm just like, okay, fine. It could look good and maybe really funny, but I'm just not in the mood for it right now. But the main story is that's how great and strong the main story is. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it's just wrecking my mind, and I love it, and it looks freaking amazing. All of it, the colors, just everything is just so glorious and perfect, and I just love how they're expanding in a way that, like, at first they started and they were like, oh, we're expanding this stuff, and I was like, that's really cool. That's really cool. We didn't see that stuff. And now they're doing stuff that, like, I could never even imagine them doing, and I'm like, this is nuts. It would be so cool though if they did like something with Jason David Frank as Lord Dracon. That would be so awesome if they could actually like do like a movie short. I know they did the trailer and that was so sick because it was actually him. If they would do more stuff like that, that would be so freaking awesome. They need to do more stuff like that because that's so just ridiculously cool. So yeah, strong by contender without a doubt. It's time for some Aquaman number 35. It's $3.99, and it does have a digital code. Dan Abnett is the writer. We have Rob Rocha, I want to say, as the penciler. And then Daniel Hayes maybe, and then maybe Danny Miki as colors, and then Sonny Go with colors as well. Anyways, but that's the creative team right there. That's the art team and stuff. And so now like we have these crazy monsters that are attacking, and they're like, yeah, we don't stand a chance. And so Aquaman shows up, and they're like, he's the only one that can fight him because his trident is like hardcore, awesome, strong magic and stuff. And there are all these crazy sea monsters going on, and they're like changed. It's kind of like, I don't know, not like zombies, but they're just like freaking crazy. And they're like, man, this guy's messing everything up. And even like his own followers are like, yeah, we need to do something about him. Oh, but the best part is Aquaman and Merc have this throwdown fight. And Merc's like, you know, if you would have just left, I could have, you know, this wouldn't have happened. You caused all of this. You ruined everything. You know, I faked your death and I was hoping you would leave. But here's the thing that's weird though, is that they created there's the thing of the thorns that kept everybody in. So I go like, well, even if he wanted to leave, I don't think he could have. So anyways, they come to an understanding where he's like, I'm not going to be the king. I'm going to put somebody else in the throne. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll work with you. But the monster that Wrath has become is just insane. So, yeah. And I was pretty right about all the credits, which is Dan Abnett as writer, Robson Rocha as pencils, Danny Henriquez and Danny Miki as inks, and then Sonny Go as colors, Travis Slam as letters. This looks so great. This book is epic. I like that it's still going too, because I thought like, oh, this is going to be the ending and it's wrapped up in one issue. Nope. And the villain issue works so well with this. Like, even though the art was not like the best, but it worked for it. And this like gets back to like exactly what I want. And this was so great. So strong buy and a contender without a doubt. I'm going to hold on to this digital code. Nice. It's time for Nightwing number 43. It's $2.99, and it is a different creative team on this one. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and get into the story. Damian, essentially it's just Dick, and he's like, oh, I can finally relax and just do, you know, just hang out and stuff. And then Damian's like, hey, I got something going on. And then Roy Harper's like, hey, I got something going on. And it turns out like, so, or he's like, hey man, what are you up to? And he's like, hey, why don't you join with me? It turns out to be the same mission that they're going for. Oh man, I just love this action. It looks so great. And here we go with the credits. And yeah, so Michael Morisi is the writer, Minkyu Jung as the artist, Felipe Sobiero is color artist, and then Carlos M. Manuel is letter. And it's just so funny seeing this team work together. It's Nightwing, Robin, and Roy Harper, Arsenal, I guess, and them, like, because it's just so great. They bicker with each other, and Nightwing's like the leader, and he's like he's also like the referee kind of at the same time. They're fighting ninjas. They save each other's lives. Cheshire's there, and it's just so good. It's so awesome. It's so great. And I love how Dick takes responsibility for everything. How he's like, oh, crap. I wasn't fully focused. I was just here to like knock out a quick mission and then be on my way because I wasn't completely focused. Things got screwed up. And then something else. And he's like, no, it's my fault. And he's like, yeah, we need to do this. And, you know, let's see if we can knock this thing out and do this thing. And it's just epic. The art is just so amazing, and the writing's just done so well. The characterization is phenomenal. Even if it's just a one-shot, this was done so well. This was so much fun. I would love to see more stuff like this, random stuff like this. I love him and Damian together, and as long as they keep on putting out stuff like this, I'm going to keep on buying it and keep on suggesting that it is a strong buy and that it is a contender. Love it. It's superb. Time for a commercial break. It is time for me to talk about one of our sponsors, which is Gamers Anonymous. And they are a video game shop, retro gaming shop specifically, but I want to say it's all systems and everything, like new stuff too. Now, I will say, because I called, I wanted to get Kirby's All-Star Friends or Buddies or whatever the new one is. And I was like, I called them, hey, do you guys have a copy? No, we don't. Sorry. And I was like, all right, oh well. So I just grabbed one from Walmart because F you to that other game shop. I'd piss on them because they do bad business. And this place doesn't do bad business. And that's why I love doing business with them. And that's why I have no problem promoting for them, and I like promoting for them and their owner, John Sakura, who is a saint, because they do stuff for the community, you know, like this cat thing, you know, where they foster a cat, and then if someone wants to adopt that cat there at the store, then they can. And it's only like 25, I think it's like 20, 25 bucks. They just make a call to the Animal Humane Center or Society, and just you answer some questions, you take home an awesome cat. I did it myself, and I have the greatest cat ever, Tiny Rick. So anyways, but they do other stuff, you know. I mean, they're always doing, they have Friday night movies, which is always great and usually relates to other movies that are coming out and stuff. So it's great, like in preparation and stuff like that too. And just a lot of fun. And then I think you just drop like a few bucks and they hook you up with some food and play video games there and stuff. It's just a grand old time. It's so great. He's just built such a great community. That's why you should join their Facebook community group, as well as follow them on Facebook. Give them the like, the thumbs up and stuff, so you can see all the deals that they have, all the games that they get in. You can be part of this where you can give them your number. If there's a game you want, give them your number. They'll text you when that game comes in, first come, first serve. You get it, you know? So it's really cool the way that they do that. And like I said, they do good business. Every time I've gone over there and done a trade, they have always given me more than what I expected. And other places, they will straight up rip you off without a second thought, you know. In this place, they will double check the price just to see if you get more money or if you get a game for cheaper. So that's really awesome. That's the thing, is buy a brand new game, play it. For example, God of War. God of War just came out. If it turns out to be a short game, you beat it. You don't want to replay it or whatever on each difficulty. You don't want to get every trophy or achievement or whatever. I think it's just for PlayStation. Anyway, so trophy. Guess what? Take it over to Gamers Anonymous, and they'll probably give you like $50 to $55 worth of credit for it. Cash, different thing. Depends on how much cash they have in the register. I think that's based off of how they do that. But for trades, and that's the thing, is they also have a reward system where I feel like every time I buy a game, I have enough points to get a discount on another game, and I go, okay, then I'll get 2 games or whatever. I'll make this purchase and then I'll make another purchase. It's superb. It's great. I love it. So it's fantastic. And like I said, not just retro gaming stuff. Get amiibos from there, you know, all kinds of stuff. They do have new games, not just used games that are turned in. Sometimes they'll actually have new copies of stuff. You know, you just have to tell them that you want it. There has to be a thing for it. They have to do it beforehand, and they'll get them in, and then you go and you get it, and boom, there you go. So, and that's what I should have done for Kirby. I should have said, hey, man, I want Kirby. Order me a thing. And he probably would have gotten a few and said, hey, does anybody else want Kirby? And boom, a group of us would have showed up and gotten some Kirby, you know, and said I had to spend my money elsewhere. But, you know, by now they probably have a used copy, maybe. I don't know. But they always have used stuff. So it's in pristine condition, mint condition. So, yeah, you should check them out. Like I said, the location is 1512 C Wyoming Boulevard Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87112. If you want to call them, you can call them at 505-332-0717. You can also go to their website at garetro.com, and they're usually open from like 10 to 8. Varies. So you just go to their website, or you know, go to their Facebook, and you can see, and they're next to a Domino's, and there's a lot of other eating places near. So if you want to get food, you can go there, and then you just say, hey, can I play in your video game, your nerd cave or whatever, you know, because they have like a garage. It's essentially like a garage, and they have like a big old screen, and then you can play whatever video games you want in there. You can eat in there, you know, and do all kinds of stuff, and they have that kind of stuff going on all the time. So that's why I'm going to get back to books, starting with Superman number 45. It's $2.99, and this one I believe is also the main. Well, Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi as the writers, and then I want to say Stephen Downer as the artist. So this one is like just wrapping things up really well. So the family is going back to their old farmhouse and they're cleaning it because this new family bought it. And so they're cleaning all their old stuff out. And so it's just like going through the memories and stuff. And they're just like enjoying the town for the last time. They go to the county fair for the last time. And I'm like, how many county fair? How often do they have a county fair? But I think this spans over like quite a bit of time. It's just a lot of emotional moments for everybody, you know, each one going through their own and dealing it in their own ways. But it's really heartfelt. It's really nice. You know, he gets some help with Flash. Flash helps, you know, other Justice League members. And they're like, but they do end up needing his help. So they're like, all right, fine, go, you know. So it's just great. It's just family moments, you know. Oh, there is Rob Zaro and Boy Zaro. And yeah, it's weird. It's emotional. It's funny. It's great. It's so good. And I just, it hits you. It hits you. I hope it's not the end of this creative team. Like at least the writer's doing their thing, but it's so great. So like I said, writer written by Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi. Words, art, and cover by Patrick Gleason, and then colors and cover colors by Stephen Downer, and then letters Tom Napolitano. So it was a superb issue. Looks phenomenal. It was great. I love it. Really emotional. Tugs at the heartstrings. I give it a strong buy, and I give it a contender. Now, Batman number 45, it is Tom King as the script, Tony S. Daniels art, John Livesay as inking assists, Tomei Murray as color, Clayton Cowles as letters. And so we have Booster. Well, actually, we have Green Lantern, and he kills himself with his own ring. And Booster Gold is there, and apparently it's an alternate timeline, or like, I don't know, it's weird because he changed time to show Bruce like what life would be like if his parents survived, and that like he's better off and stuff. And so that's what it is. And you see like how Tim Drake's life is different, how Nightwing is different, and everything, and how like I think Nightwing is now Batman, and he uses guns and stuff, and Jason Todd is like sells tires that can't be ripped off. I don't. It's kind of funny, but it's really dark and messed up. And he reveals to Bruce Wayne like what he did and stuff like that. And it's just messed up what happens to everybody else. And then this guy's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, because he's so different now. He's like, yeah, I don't care what you did. Keep things the way that they are. I have my parents and it's their anniversary, so screw off. And he even destroys like his time travel device boosters. And you're like, okay, all right. Well, that's that, huh? It's really interesting how this writer writes, because like I don't see the connection between Booster with this arc and the previous arc. And that's fine, because like the arcs on their own are like really great. Like his graphic novels are just great. But like when from arc to arc, you're just kind of like, I'm not really getting how they connect. So I kind of want to say that they're like, this is a great issue, superb issue. The way it starts off, the middle and the end, like definitely gets me to want to get the next issue. But I still feel like the arc as a whole will probably be stronger than it would be issue by issue, because these, especially like I said already. But anyways, it looks phenomenal, and everything about it is just really great and awesome, crazy and hardcore, and it's really interesting. So I give it a strong buy, and I give it a contender. Let's go with Green Lanterns number 45. This is $2.99, and this should be the same creative team. We have Tim Seeley as a writer, Ronan Pliquet as the artist, and then Hi-Fi as colors. And oh my goodness. So this one we're going through Jessica Cruz's memories of this camping trip she went on with her friends that she cannot remember what happened to the people that, like, she can't recall the people that killed her friends. She, like, her mind has blocked it out, and so she's made the deal with this devil character, kind of. And so you find out that, like, she was raised, like, on how to hunt. Like, she knows that, like, hunting is kind of obsolete now in the way that, like, hey, we don't need it for food and stuff, but, like, she still doesn't. Like, we can eat it and stuff, you know, so it's not like a waste. You have the whole Justice League shows up to help because there's this black hole in the city, and Constantine shows up even too and is like, hey, you know, this is how we're going to do this. And it turns out, like, there's a back door, and the only person that can get in is her partner, Simon Baz. And I really hope that this is where, like, the romance stuff comes in, because that stuff's really great. But oh my God, just being in the mind of Jessica Cruz is so interesting and so phenomenal. This is so great. This is so good. And I love this because what we have here is this character who initially she was overwhelmed with her anxiety and everything like that, where, like, she had become agoraphobic. She would not leave the house. And you go, like, oh, she's weak and she's pathetic. And you have all these ideas and, like, and all these things. And then you go, like, wow, she used to know how to hunt and go around the country and do all these things. And you go, and death changed her into this person. And you go, like, you had no idea of the person that they were before something traumatic happened to them. And you feel bad just thinking those things about them because of that. And that's real life. Things like this happen in real life, where horrible traumatic things happen, and you judge them for what they are now instead of for what they used to be. And this horrible thing that changed them. I think it's fair to say that this is probably going to be my back and bag of the week. So anyways, it's a strong buy and a contender without a doubt. So let's time for Tales of Suspense. Number 104, featuring Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier, Troy Ledger, part 5 of 5. We have Matthew Rosenberg as the writer, artist Travel Foreman, color artist Rachel Rosenberg, Clayton Cowles as the letterer, and Natasha has the arm of the Winter Soldier as well as the bow of Hawkeye, and supposedly their bodies were in rubble. She's taking these things to her bosses and, like, hey, I killed him. And they're like, you know what, you deserve a raise because you killed this one dude, you know, and so we're going to give you his job. And then she helps the little girls in the Red Room. She's training them alongside this other guy that is, you know, she's better at training them and stuff. And then you see Clint and Bucky, and they're working together to get out of this place. And then they go track her down and stuff. And then they end up back where, like, she's trying to do her own thing, completely destroy the Red Room. They ruin it for her because, like, she's trying to do it on the sneak, and they show up and ruin, like, they're like, oh yeah, they're out there to help her, and she has to go off and stuff. And then these little girls, I love how they beat up Clint and stuff. And it's just pure chaos and madness and just brilliance. And I love how the way they did this, because they did, like, Natasha Romanoff was legitimately dead, but they made clones, and they have this guy that puts the memories of the person back into the clone. And then so they can start anew, and they have, like, a whole thing of clones. And she's like, I'm going to destroy the system and stuff. And yeah. And then she does her thing and disappears in the end. And it's awesome, and it's epic, and it's freaking amazing. It's just, this is another issue where, God, this is so freaking good. It's a strong buy and it's contender. It looks phenomenal, and it's absolutely superb and terrific. The art is just amazing. I love this from beginning to end. Every part was great. If you didn't get it in issues, get it in trade, because I bet it's even better in trade. It's phenomenal in issues, though. It's very episodic, so, but it works either way. So I strong buy contender without a doubt. And screw it, I'm going to hold on to this digital code too. Probably going to be giving a lot of digital codes away at the end. Speaking of, it's Cable 156, $3.99. So as a digital code, Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thompson are the writers. Herman Peralta is artist. Jesus Aburtov is colorist. Travis Lanham is letterer. Now, this is great. This is great what they're doing here. So what they do here is they have Cable and they have Rachel Hope Summers, and she's a little girl, and they have traveled into like the future, and it's like some messed up future, and she's pretty young and naive, and she sees it and she's like, oh, people, and then they're like, you know, these, I think they're cannibal hillbillies or something like that, and so they end up attacking them, and yeah, it's just crazy and intense and hardcore. The Bishop actually shows up to help them, or not help them, but to kill these guys so that he can kill Hope. And then they get out of there. You see flashback to when Cyclops and Jean Grey were showing Cable how to control his powers. It's freaking epic and awesome and hardcore. And then that goes to Cable showing Hope how to shoot a gun and stuff. And then like how this other creature that was in the previous story, how it shows up and is like the real person that he's been running from, and then attacks Bishop, who has showed up again. Bishop is hardcore and awesome too. You need a Bishop series as well. He's misunderstood sometimes. But yeah, it's just freaking epic, and I just like how it tells the story of the previous issue was this, you know, Hope getting attacked and stuff. And then now in this one, it's like explaining like their relationship and stuff. So it's just strengthening it. It's superb stuff. It's a strong buy. It's a contender without a doubt. It's also very emotional. And I don't want to keep all the books. So for the digital codes for the second half. So I guess I'll go ahead and give this one away, as strong as it is anyways. F for Fantastic, Z for Zach, M for Mark, 9, Y for Yellow, H for Hank, T for Thomas, K for Ken, F for Frank, T for Thomas, Z for Zach, N for Nice. Let's do Daredevil number 601. It is $3.99. Digital code. Charles Soule is writer. Mike Henderson is the artist. Matt Nia is color artist. Clayton Cowles is the letterer. So we have Daredevil. He has been captured. He is, you know, they have these special shackles on him. He can't break them. He keeps on trying to break them. He's like, he can hear, but he can't. He hasn't been able to break them. The Hand, so they show up, but he finds a way to get loose. They kind of help him in a way, or he finds a way to get them to help him. And he deals with them. And remember, they just turn to dust, so it's okay to kill them. Now, there is this page, this spread, and it's supposed to look really cool and hardcore, but it just really cheese balls because like the proportions just look weird, and then just the outfit looks really dorky on him. And I just go like, this is where you're start to lose me. And then they have, so he does get loose. He does become, Matt Murdock is now the mayor. So, and just the looks that Matt Mayer has, it's weird because, well, a lot of these people end up looking the same, like the faces. I'm like, this dude looks just like Matt Murdock, except Matt Murdock has red hair. And then Matt Murdock, like the faces that he makes are just kind of awful. He keeps on making, and I just go like, why is he making that awful face? Like, I don't know, it's just weird. And I'm like, the art is just so off-putting at times. Like certain times you're like, wow, that looks really great, and then others you're just like, okay, this was awful and stuff. And the story is really interesting. The writing is just killer, and it's just knocking it out of the park. But this art, well, I was just like, it just every time, like there's so many on at least one page, I'd be like, that's really off-putting. And so I can't, I want to give it a strong buy and I want to give it a contender because the story is so good and so well done that like, and then he even finds a way to like get the heroes out so they can help fight the Hand. And now I'm like, that's freaking awesome. That's going to be so cool to check out the next issue. I hope it's not this artist though. I'll still buy it, but that makes this like, oh God, I almost want to give it a weak buy just because the art is so off-putting and it's so consistently off-putting. Like I said, nearly every page, I'm just like, that looks weird. That looks odd, you know? And I'm just like, why? So, but I'm going to give it a buy because the writing's so well done and parts of the art look really well done. So like I said, I'll give it a buy. Here's a digital code. F for Familia, Z for Zorro, M for Marcos, L for Lupita, D for Diego, 1-1, K for Kilo, D for Diego, M for Marcos, 5, and for Novella. World War Hulk, what? It's the Incredible Hulk, number 715. Writer is Greg Pak, penciler Carlo Barbari, inker Walden Wong, colors Frank D'Armata, letter Corey Petit. And we have Hulk is just like messing up this King Prince Falcon of Seknarf 7 that is always like attacking Earth or something. And they have now figured out that Hulk is now in charge of Amadeus's body or whatever. And so they take the fight to him and stuff. Maddie has figured it out, and they're like, nope, I'm not getting help from you guys. You guys can piss off. And she finds a way to get through to Amadeus, and it's really cool and it's really awesome. And it's really crazy though, because there's times where like, you know, Hulk is just standing there and he's like, if I don't do something about this, something really bad is going to happen to somebody or your mom or your sister. And so he's like, fine. So he submits control to him, but he's, you know, he tries to communicate with his sister. And man, this Hulk, he's now using the brains of Amadeus. So he's able to outsmart everybody with this, and so he finds a way to outsmart them. They think they're outsmarting him, and it looks like it works too for a bit, and then you're like, oh, okay. And Alpha Flight shows up too, and they're like, oh, hey, turn over this thing, you know, this prince and stuff, and we're gonna put him in prison. And yeah, it's just freaking awesome. I really like it. I really like where it's going. I give it a strong buy, and I give it a contender. I will give the digital code away though. And I'm looking forward to the next issue. It looks great. Everything about it is really well done. I'm really surprised with it. I don't know how it's going to play out or compare to the actual World War Hulk. This isn't like an actual mini event like the other World War Hulk was, which is slightly disappointing. But we'll see how it plays out. So I can't completely knock on it yet. So yeah, strong buy. And I would say it's a contender. Here's a digital code. F for Fantastic, C for Cable, M for Marvel, I for Innocent, S for Super, Z for Zeta, F for Fantastic, E for Elite, U for Ultron, P for Peter, B for Brilliant, Z for Zeta. Now, last book of the week is appropriately Action Comics number 1000. I'm not going to put a timer on this. This is really thick. It's $7.99. It is quite a bit of many pages. I think it's almost like, I want to say it's 82. So yeah, it's close. It's up there near. And there's just a lot of singles, a lot of short stories by different creative teams. You have Dan Jurgens as the writer, and then Norm Rapman as inker, and then Hi-Fi as color, and then Rob Leigh as letters. Oh, Don Jurgens does art too for From the City That Has Everything. And so a symbol that try to attack Earth every so often, so Superman has to go into space, and he's like, okay, yeah, and then he stops them, and he's like, I know there's more. And he's looking and looking, and he's just waiting for something to happen. All the while, they're like throwing this appreciation day for Superman. He's supposed to show up, but he's not showing up because he's focused on this. And so just all these great stories of like how you know, criminals even have like turned things around because of him, and people that have gotten saved by him. And then they have another story. Well, they just, like I said, they just have like there's random pages, different artists do things and shows heroics and different things he's done over the ages. Oh yeah. I remember this one. This one's pretty awesome. This story was Vandal Savage pulls him, like throws him in his past, and he's lost in time, but he can get through it. And so you just, like I said, that's where you have different, I think, different artists and stuff, and they're doing different things. And he's just saying like how he got through it. It's The Never-Ending Battle, which is by Peter J. Tomasi. He does story and words. Then Patrick Gleason does art. He's the artist, and Alejandro Sanchez was colorist, and then Tom Napolitano was the letterer for that. It's pretty epic, and he's just like how he dug deep to get it to his family and other things like that. And then there's An Enemy Within, which is script by Marv Wolfman, art by Kurt Swan, inks pages 1 through 4, Butch Guice, inks pages 5, Kurt Schaffenberger, and then color and production assist, Hi-Fi and letters, Rob Lay. And it's somebody that, like, Brainiac is cutting into this guy's brain and like making him go crazy. I think he's holding up the school and stuff. He's a really good teacher and stuff. And they find a way to help him, essentially, but it ends up being just normal people is the reason. Like this police captain, Sawyer, which I think was the girlfriend of Batwoman. Batwoman. Then there's this other one, The Car, by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. They do the story together. And then Olivier Coppel is the artist. Alejandro Sanchez does colors. And then, Nick Napolitano is letters. And essentially, it's a flashback story to like that one guy that I think he was a criminal, and Superman like wrecked his car, his truck. He was holding it up, that classic cover. And so he ends up going to the guy and just like being like, hey, you're in control here, man. I'm not going to turn you in. Like, you can change things around at any point. You can do things and make the difference. Then there's this other thing where Superman talks to Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor like goes through, he can go into time and he can alter things. It is Of Tomorrow. It's by Tom King. He's the writer, and then Clayman is the artist. Jordi Belair is color artist, and then John Workman was the letterer. And I think for that one. And so he just explains all that stuff, and then it ends up being really good, and how he didn't mess with things because of him. Then there's 5 Minutes by Luis Simonson as the writer, Jerry Ordway as an artist, Dave McCaig as colors, Carlos Esmangual as letters. And this one is great. It's from Clark's point of view, where something bad has happened, and he has a deadline to do the news, and he's like trying to type as fast as he can, but then he can hear that this guy, this train conductor, he had a heart attack, and so he can't stop. It's really weird, though. This one I thought was kind of stupid, because it's like you could go in where the guy had a heart attack, and you could just control the controls to slow down the train, but instead he wrecks the train and the tracks. And like people probably got hurt in there, and the tracks are demolished now, and someone's gonna have to pay for that to fix it. But then it also becomes this thing where like these robbers are stealing money, ends up stopping these bank robbers in the area as well. And then he gets back and he's like finishing up, and they're like, oh, hey, Clark, cancel that story. It turns out Superman just did this. And he's like, oh gosh, okay. So. And then there's Action Land. Script is Paul Dini, pencils Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, inks Kevin Nowlin, colors Trish Mulvihill, letters Josh Reed. And yeah, it looks like there's just this ride. It's this park that's an homage to Superman, and I think it's just going through his history and his past and stuff. Oh, and it goes into Mitsaplik and this lady that's with Mitsaplik, and I think it's like a teaser for a future story or something. I don't know, but just how like Mitsaplik could control everything, but he kind of likes the thing that he does with Superman. He just messes with him. Oh, and this one was so great. So this story is about this mugger, and he's, or not, I don't know if he's a mugger, but he has this lady hostage and he's going to shoot her in the head. And Superman's like, I don't know if I can make it in time. And he's like, the police are doing the best they can. And you can see the mechanics of the gun. He's explaining it, narrating it. Oh, it's so good. It's so well done. And the art is just freaking phenomenal. And this lady, she ends up doing something so that she, he's distracted. The guy's distracted. But gives enough time to Superman so that he can get there just barely enough time so that he can catch the bullet before it hits her head. And so he's like, that's what inspires me to keep doing this is people like that are brave enough to do that, those little things. That one was Brad Meltzer was the writer of that one, with John Cassaday as the artist and Laura Martin as colors, Chris Eliopoulos as letters. That one was so great. And then there's The Truth, written by Brian Michael Bendis, pencils Jim Lee, Scott Williams on inks, Alex Sinclair's colors, Craig Petita's letters. And it's just, you see Superman, he's getting wrecked by somebody, and he's just getting trashed through the city, and these people try to protect him. You see this ugly, hideous dude is like trash talking. The letters are so well done because they're all black, and so you're like, okay, this dude is scary. Like, he just sends that feeling. You go like, he could be Doomsday level, bad. And the art is just so freaking stunning. It's just killer. And Superman's trying not to destroy things and trying not to hurt people his best. And he's just trying to survive. And this guy's like literally about to impale him. And he's like, I'm here to kill you and stuff. And he also has a teaser into his past. Like, oh yeah, I destroyed Krypton and your dad had something to do with it. I don't know. So I would have rather paid $10 for a book this size. If you would have given me something that is now, I love this. I love all the stories. Here's the thing. I love all the stories. I love all the singles. Like, you guys, ladies and gents, you all heard what I had to say about it. Okay. What have I had to say about each single story? I just went through it all. And then the ending story is the new stuff. And I go like, okay, that's cool. Not anything that we haven't seen before. I mean, maybe, maybe not. Now, what disappoints me the most is something that they could have done at the end of the last that Dan Jurgens did, which is tell Lois Lane's father that Clark is Superman. Now, if they would have done that, that would have just put things in, like, I really wish Bendis would have ran with that. And he didn't. I mean, they still could, but obviously it seems like he's doing his own thing. And here's the thing. If you think like, oh, big 1000, we're bringing Bendis to DC. So what? Bendis has been doing Marvel for how long? And I can go read his stuff. And how big of a deal was that? Like, there was not meant, like, no offense to Bendis, he is easily one of my favorite writers and was one of my favorite writers at Marvel. But he wasn't to the point where, like, I don't feel like he's Mark Waid status, where I'm like, anything he puts out is gold. I don't feel that way, And so, to me, just bringing him to number 1000 and then going, this is it, not enough for me. You have to drop something like that, like boom, reveal, a boom, big reveal for number 1000, and see how the fallout comes in the next issues. Like, this is number 1000. This is huge. Nothing else has gotten to this numberage, to this numbering. How could you do this? Like, this is your big teaser. Like, you just do single one-shots, which were superbly well done. But I'm telling you, I would have paid $10 for this book. It's number 1000 anyways. I would have been like, only makes sense. It's number 1000. I'm going to pay $10 for it. It is like a mini graphic novel. It really just feels like an oversized, overpriced annual is what it feels like. How it reads and everything like that. Or, yeah, that's how. Instead, it's not that level that it should be. This is number 1000, people. This is number 1000, DC. What are you doing? This was your big chance to just do something totally nuts. And okay, all right, you dropped some crazy stuff. All right, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get the next issue I was going to anyway. Was like, oh my God, you revealed to Lois Lane's father. I would have been like, oh my God, what the hell is gonna happen? Like, is the whole U.S. military gonna now turn on Superman? Like, how is this going to be handled? You know, it's just going to mess up the family dynamics. That's the thing I care the most about, you know, too. Complete missed opportunity. And yeah, I feel like if that was what Jurgens was going to do, you should have left him on this book and pissed off to Bendis. He could have, because I know he's doing a Man of Steel book anyways that I think it is every other week. It might be weekly, but I think it's every other week. And so I'm like, how many books does he Superman books does he need to do anyways? One's not enough. I don't know. I'm like, come on, DC. Like, you do so well usually, and this was just like a letdown to me. Like, not like, oh yeah, this is a pass letdown. It's still buy without a doubt, but I just feel like that last part and just the things you could have just done so much more. So that's just how I feel about that. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna get into my back and bag of the week. I'm gonna go into this my runner-up and BBOW for the week, which is just so many good things here. At Hawkeye Winter Soldier was so great. I had to dote upon it because it was so great. Oh man, this X-Men. There's so many good things this week. It's just like so hard to pick. It really is ridiculous. So, as I said before, Green Lanterns, number 45, BBOW, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It just blows my mind. Like, just blows my mind. It really hit me where it needed to hit me, you know? And then I'm just going to have to go with X-Men Gold, number 26, just because visually and writing wise, like, I hear the voices perfectly and I see, you know, things look perfect and they sound perfect and everything's really well done and I really like it and it's just really superb. And it's I like how they just throw real life drama into X-Men drama. It just works so well. And so this is my runner-up. Here's the digital code. 5177, G for glorious, T for terrific, Q for quintessence, T for terrific, R for righteous, 5304 opulent. Cool. So, but I do have more digital codes to give away. I do have a couple digital codes to give away, I believe I have here, which includes, I don't know, did I give away Hawkeye and Winter Soldier? I don't think I did. And if I didn't, here it is. F for Familia, C for Carlos, N for Marco, 6, D for Diego, S for Senor, Y for Yucca, 3, F for Familia, S for Senor, Z for Zorro, I for Ignacio. And then also Aquaman, I have the code for Aquaman. You can have that one too. Here it is, DC for Detective Comics, 817, L for Lycan, Y for Yellow, C for Coke, Z for Zarbon, 048, Y for Yellow. And that's it for this week, folks. I'm going to go get some rest. And I hope you do too, or, you know, go read comics, enjoy your life, and enjoy the nerdy things and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to go rest. And make sure you can check out all of our stuff at TNTMTheShow, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, everything. I know I've been slacking on the YouTube, but I've been working really hard. Me and Slagey have been working really hard on some projects together. We're double teaming it on stuff, and we're putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into these projects. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into the editing for the videos for Santa Fe Comic-Con and Duke City Comic-Con. So it's taking more time, and as well as other videos, the Talk Foodie to Me videos. He put out a trailer. He made a trailer for it, and so that's kind of like a teaser trailer for all the stuff that's going to be coming out, because we're going to be doing a lot more Talk Foodie to Me videos, at least 2 or 3. 2 that we definitely have in the works, and then of course more we'll be doing as time goes on, as we have time. So we'll see how that works. And yeah, we're doing our best. We're doing our best here. So that's all we can do with what we have. And yeah. So you can check it all out at the TNTM the Show website and everything else. Talk nerdy to me, I'll talk nerdy to you, and keep your ojos hungry for comics.